And when the red light is there, that's it recording.
Yeah,
and then to zoom, you can zoom in like that. Look.
Where's the zoom button?
See it there. Look where my finger is.
I can see it. Oh,
see it. Look. There.
Which one?
That one. W.
The big one.
That one. Yeah.
That one. Yeah. And what way? Press it down or out?
No, just sideways and backwards.
Well, I'll be watching the camera anyway. And how many fingers do I use in the
just
strap?
One hand, you know.
Yeah, maybe 3 fingers in the strap. And window jacks anyway.
Historically. Well, Max is going to go into some detail and some of the other significant things. You just give him a chance. That's in German. We have it in 5 languages. Woher kommen Sie? This is a special, we have a special service to mark 300 years this church is open. Yeah. And this is the little order of service that this hymns and things they sung to celebrate 300 years. And I just have these left over if anyone would like one. If anyone's interested, just take one because they're left over from the service. And it could be of historical value if you're interested to hold on to. It could be in the future.
Yeah, it's all right, don't worry.
I know, it's all right. I know. I don't like to sit my room is full of...
Then you would complain. Then you would complain. What's his name again?
Nice person. Come on now, we'll go up to the...
He has no further time for you.
Where is this guy gone? Where's the guy? Are you coming up?
Yeah, I want to get the other one.
Or are we not all present?
Michael's coming now.
Michael's coming. You know me, don't you?
That's right, me I do.
I always come to the 3 hours.
Send that to
I'm not going to.
I know it, yeah, indeed. Sorry, where are you going to start from?
Nice to see you.
Where are you going to start from? Because I'll film it.
I don't look 91, do I?
Remember me? No, Bertie Doyle's brother.
Huh?
Doyle's brother, Bertie Doyle's brother.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Yeah. Where are you going to start from so I can get the film from start to finish?
This is my second of them.
Yeah. Where do you want me to start? Where are you going to start from so I can get start to finish the whole lot?
Where are you going to stop the talk?
Well, whenever they get together.
We're all here.
Michael's
all here. Michael's here. Michael's here.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
I'll have to get you in as well because
12.
you'll be on Sky News with Kay Burley reporting from Ireland correspondent.
Your sister wants to put your name inside of this as well.
Jerry's there.
Okay, Max, are you ready to start?
Ready to roll?
You ready to?
Okay.
Where are you going to start? Your tour. Where are you going to start?
I was going to start the hall.
Okay.
Oh, there. Which way are you going to go? Down this way or down centre?
I'll be down the centre.
I get it from there and then I'll move down there and catch you coming in. You guys all right?
We're becoming famous.
Sky News, you'll be on Sky, Kay Burley, you can see Sky News. Where the Prime Minister goes, I go.
Right, girls.
Now we're going to start in the hallway and just describe a little bit.
Oh, do I stand on the stairs back, sir?
Whenever you're ready, just start in the hall and work our way.
Yeah, we're all here, yeah. That's how we're all. Oh, me and Fred.
All right. The church dates back to 1707. The Lord Mayor's house, just up the road, was a private house for a Joshua Dawson, 1705. And he gave the site for the church. Originally it was going to be on the other side of the road, but it settled down here. Now when the church was built originally, this was the front here. That long house went on at a much later date. And then the point was that when they started here, this is where the horses were carried. And in the gallery on the left-hand side, the Earl Kildare, who built himself the house at Kildare in 1744, James Kildare, had a special season. The Lord Mayor on the far side, and at least the Lord Mayor was in the middle of the bottom, and the Archbishop was on the other side. Now, in the bottom of the church, there were horse boxes, rooms of St. Randy. And at the end of the aisle was a 3-story high pulpit with a reading desk. That chancel wasn't as it is today. Then the point was that at the very beginning, the old place where we had the choir room there, that was just said and put on later on. But in the church itself, the seats, the choir was just up by the altar. They went 1834, Bishop Bride Street. And the point was that when they came, in 1851, Hercules Dickinson became the curate. He was the rector in 1859, and then he closed the church down for 1 year. And these pews were put in there, and the children gave the baptism. And then the windows went in 1860. So I refer to the windows now. I want to concentrate on the windows of the church. But when Billy Wynn came here, the co-founder of Samaritan, in 1979, he said churches should be museums. They should be museums. Big rooms didn't exist. There's only stairs and else we have. And he built that room for Samaritan work. And in 1981, I just had been on those to start work. I started to do shop here. But in 1980, way long. The point was that this debate was then. But if you go to the church now, I give an idea of it.
Sorry.
That's it, how do you, how do you go on?
I'm only here for it. Okay. The window, first window I'm going to refer to is the window in the middle on the left. Now that's the window to St. Anne. Now people don't realize St. Anne, she was in Somerset in England. She was a duchess. And she had a child. Sunday, the poor of Dawson was taken away my birthday. This was the tradition then. But the funny thing was that when in 1851, and certainly Dickinson became the curate, and then still the curate did, and that sugar gave a lovely baptism form at the baptism at that time.
Just focus on him over there, please.
It's incredible because they went in at different times. And the three windows at the very, very top of the church were cast. They were the first windows in 1860. And if you look to the right here of the door, you'll see a Belisha Heman. You may not know her name, but you know the boy stood on the burning deck. That was her boat. She's laid under the church. And her window, in the first, one of the first windows, is to the wind of the vine. And I explained what it was. But this is the window as you go up. Now I'll go up towards that area now to give the idea of the window. Okay? What's up? All right.
How far?
If you look at the window here to Belisha Heman, on the middle on the left is the raising of the, see, it's the
Yeah. Where's the number? The number. In church. I'll talk to you later, okay?
okay.
Okay, see you, bye.
On the left hand, Miriam, older sister, and she sang Sing on the Lord, which is, you know, and on the other side is Deborah. She was a great leader of Israel, and she sang Awake, Awake of the song. On the bottom left then is Hannah presenting Samuel to Eli. And my heart rejoiced for the Lord. On the other side is Mary and Elizabeth greeting each other. It's the icon. But in those windows, on the very, very top, our Lord went to visit a lady called Martha. And her sister Mary came down and sat beside and said, listen to me. And Martha thought she should be in the kitchen helping her. And she touched her on the shoulder to tell her what. And our Lord said, Mary did the best part. Listen to me. And then there's the scenes around, the different scenes. The woman touched the scone, and there's Ruth in the cornfield, and Mary at the second. But it's to the women of the Bible. Now that window there is not the original window. The window at the very, very end is to Alexander Knox. Now he was secretary to Lord Castlereagh, and his memorial is up where the memorial is, where the urns are. But it was on the wall one time. But he was secretary to Lord Castlereagh. And you'll read that, and you can get afterwards a copy of his. In 1831, he said, people of all faiths go back to him. And it will give you the message we want to do today. And the point is that that window there, I'll mention it when we go down. But I want to mention these windows here. This window here is to Dr. Cusack. and it's to the resurrection. And in the middle of the left is the raising of Jairus' daughter. The other is the widow of Nain's son. The bottom window is Peter raising daughters. And the other side is the Lord raising Lazarus. And that is the background because he's a doctor and because it's to do, and that's the Lord ascension on the very, very top. As I say, that window there was put in at a much later date and is to a night. And he wants to see the ascended Lord. So it is ideal in the east, the raising of our Lord coming up. Now that window there is to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. And on the top is Samuel and Eli in the temple. In the middle, the Good Samaritan. You can see the priest and the Eli, the priest and the Levi disappearing, and he put him up on a donkey. And people love me to tell you that the bottom of the window is the tax collector asking for forgiveness. But there's the window, and that window there is a memory of a judge. Now, as I say, the next window, of course, I've already referred to it, but there's the castle, the sign outside the mansion house, the street castle, the gates of the city of Dawson, and the Iron Fox, much of ours. And then on the top, you see the line representing St. Mark. And in the background here, in 1859, when he opened the church, that chief chant was opened up in his father, a memory of his father. And we have then the angel aligned opposite the eagle, the fourth. And in the center then is the Lamb, a sign of the resurrection. Holy, 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 God, Lord, Lord. But that was opened up then. But funny enough, the choir was brought down at that time. They were up there. And the help was then 1894, open in Bright Street, and was brought over here. And it's brought into the church there. And it's still going strong, all those years. Now the thing is that when the thing was brought down, there was a reading desk there. And one here. And the thing was that the choir eventually were brought down here. And it was Billy Watson that got the organ brought down, the chant, the actual thing that was there at one time. So there's a difference between the two. But funny enough, Billy didn't want any girls in the choir. And when he died, the girls went to the choir for the first time. But I like that. It was quite open. He used to go around all the monasteries and he judged girls for competitions and all that sort of thing. Music was his mind all the time. He died in service. Now, the thing is that the window there, the second window on the left-hand side, is where the Pharisees were trying to trick our Lord, and they said, should they pay tax to see? And the Lord said, show me a coin. Which face is on the coin? And they said, Caesar. So you know the old saying, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar, and unto God the things that are unto God. And that's the background of that window. They're done very, very beautifully. The window here on the left side is to a house you should wait here. And on the top is to be an example to the believer. And that's Paul ordaining Timothy. And you remember what he said? Forget not the gift that is in thee. In other words, we all have a gift of some kind. And it takes a long sometimes to say I was the gift of the gap. But that's the way it is. But now, in the middle is the Lord saying, feed my lambs on the sea again. And the bottom of the window is Paul with the church of Ephesus. He had not shut to preach the word of God. And that's that window there to Archbishop Whately, a very, very well known Archbishop. Now the next window, that window is faith, hope, and charity. And on the very top of the window, there's a lady called Dawson. Dawson used to make clothes for children. And that was her background. So that's her with the children. And then on the bottom then, there's the symbol. The symbol of the cross came in at a very much later date. That's a Latin cross introduced in the 4th century. And it was later on associated with St. George. And the most extraordinary thing about St. George, 23 miles north of Jerusalem, there was a place called Ingram. And they were Christians from the time Peter had converted them in the olden days. And the point was that this man's father was the consul for the Roman people there. And he died when he was only 36. And the boy was 11. His name was Nestor, but he was Christian. Now the point was that the new province, Justice, thought he put him in the army. The funny thing was that in York, in England, there was a Roman emperor, a Roman general, contacted, and he married King Paul's daughter, Empress Nadine. And their son was Constantine. Constantine was born into the Roman family. But now, he was in the army. And the point was that eventually they met together in the army. George was made centurion, and then he became looking after the men in the Eastern Empire. Looking after the men there. And that was his position. But the point was, they both went to England. And they never saw Christians there before. And they fell in love. The point was that eventually, Anton Galerius was over all the armies of the Romans. Now, the wife and the daughter of the emperor in Constantinople had become Christians. And when Galerius wanted the sign to get rid of all the Christians, they were going to quit. He had to resign the purpose to him because he couldn't, his wife and daughter. But now, but George came back and found out what was happening. He tore down all the notes. He was stripped of his armor and put in prison. He was beheaded when he was 24. And the point was that 7 years later, Constantine had become the emperor of Rome. And when he died, the people in England wanted the Romans to make him the emperor. But he had to fight two people. And in the sky, he saw a sword in this man's arm. I think that in his single being. And that became a symbol of conscience, a Roman symbol, a Latin cross. And at a later date, that was accepted as the symbol of dying for your faith. It's our children, and it came associated with the Christian George talked about. But George never saw it. The 7 years after he died. But there's a lot in the history there. But the most extraordinary thing is that that's been the symbol of sin. And then there's faith, hope, and charity, and that's the word again, it's hope we have in the anchor of the soul, children and past. So the anchor is the book, and the heart is charity. And that's the window there, the way that window is formed. Now, the next window, if you see it there, that's two people, the Swiss people. But there, again, it's the story of the sheep on the top of the good shepherd. And then on the top, and then on that window.
Feel free to go and look around and see it properly.
And then on the bottom left there, there's a woman that lost her, you know, she had things around things around the neck, and she lost her. And 12 of them she had to find. And the other side of it is the Good Samaritan. At least the lost son, the prodigal son coming back to his father. And that's the background of that one. The last window here is a very famous window because it's to a judge. And because it's a judge, it's the judgment of Solomon. The two women fighting over the baby. And remember, they were prostitutes, and they both had babies, and one baby died, and she changed the babies over during the night. And in the morning, the one lady knew that it wasn't her baby. And they went to Solomon. And Solomon said, we cut the baby in two. You'll have a half a baby each. And you see the sword in the back there, and the thing was that that's where the story comes. You see, she said, give her my child. Save my child. I said, you're the one. But this is the wisdom of Solomon. And the bottom is a copy of Michelangelo's Moses. And if you look at the window there, you'll see that he has two horns on his head. They didn't know about the halos then. They put two lights coming into his head. But that's the background of that window. But all the windows there, they went in the early days. The bottom windows went in after the First World War. Remember? And the very first, the very bottom, this window is to a man giving himself to our Lord before he went into battle. And the next window there is the birth of the child. And then, that window there is how he was raised when he went to the temple. That window there is to do with the Tush people. Family, who were very, very famous here. And that is where the women went to see him at the grave, and he's already risen. The last thing there is to a young doctor that died that has no spiritual connection. But that was there, was just up there. But the funny thing about it is, on the other side of the window, the last window, very end, is to St. Michael on the side. And then it's the different people from the burning bush and Midian, Gideon, Jonathan and David. And then on one side is St. George on the top. And then you have St. Martin at the bottom, cutting his cloak and giving it to the man on the street. Now, that is there is the lady that died in the hospital, and it's Judah. And it has to do with I was hungry and he ate meat, thirsty to get a drink, and all that story there. But I was here so long, I never knew. My mother was Hannah Elizabeth Bull, my maiden name. And her mother was Hannah Allen. And the ancestors of our family go back to the O'Hart family who were the princes of Tara and the chiefs of society on that time. See? And the funny thing about it, I always knew there was a background to the family in that way. But I learned at an earlier stage because Mother used to lead me to things of looking at back at history. And I never thought that window there, that's known as the St. Christopher window, is to Glastonbury in England. And that's where Mary was born. And when an order of 12 years of age, you don't hear anything more about it. That Joseph Arimathea, the brother of Joseph, who adopts the Lord, amen, bringing him back, because he had ships, and he was to come collect egg and fish. And he brought the Lord to find out where the damsel came from. And an order there, the 18 years into the Bible. And that's the story of getting so strong, that's the story. You learn all about it. So that is the life of the Lord. And I'll just show you very quickly how life is to be discovered. How it came to be. Unfortunately, I used to play football there, and they're not a graveyard here, but I used to play football there. And those days. And this is a wall, and a light. That's how you do that. On the left, on the top, there's the flight to Egypt, when Herod was killing the children. And they went to Egypt to try and save the child. Now in the middle, there was plenty of time they went across on the boat, and a storm arose, and they woke the Lord up to calm the water, save them. Now the bottom of the window is Palm Sunday, and the Lord going in to Jerusalem on the dock. Now, the one on the right then is Simon's rings, tying the symbol of our Lord's crucifixion. And then in the middle is the Lord being buried in Joseph Arimathea's grave. And that's where it's there. But on the bottom, there's a man named Joseph, a counsellor, and he was a good man and just. Beside his head is the word Britain, a boat, and a tree. Now when our Lord came with Jesus, he was climbing a hill, the mended hills where they had the leaden tin, and he put a stick in the ground and it blossomed. Now that's the holy thorn that's there today. It blossomed at Christmas time and at Easter. And the point about it is that people go down on the last Saturday in June to commemorate our Lord. That's when the Lord was 18. They say he was even male. So it brings the Lord very, very, very much to life. And the funny thing about it is, the descendants of Joseph Arimathea, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. That's the story of life. But this is the background there. But I only found out that by pure coincidence that there was a background there of that. Now, Anne married 3 times. Her first was to Joseph. And then, Mary, when she got married, she had the birth of a Lord, and she was adopted by Joseph, who was the line of David, and he had looked after her. And very funny thing when you think of it, Mary wasn't necessarily a Jew. She was born, maybe the tribe of Dan, or something, Israelite. So there was all one part of the trip. And then the point was that Anne married the second time. And she married a man called Cleopas, who was a brother of Joseph, with them, by law, Jewish law. And their daughter, Mary, there were 3 Marys, married a brother of Joseph. His name was Thaddeus, but he took the name of Cleopas from his father. And their 4 children was James the Less, and he took the counsel of the church in Jerusalem when Peter got out of prison. Paul came back from the missionaries, he went to him for counsel. James the Less was the head of the church after the Lord's ascension. And then there was Simon, Jude, and Joseph Barnabas. And they were known as the brothers of our Lord. And then Cleopas Senior died and married again. And she married a man called Solomon. And their daughter, Mary, married a man called Zebedee. Their 2 children were John the Divine James the Great. And there we have the Lord's family. He has stepdaughters. And the point was, this is the background. They do say, and it's in the history in England, and in the national story, that Anne's sister, she had different names like Bianca and other names. She married a man called Halliburton, whose daughter Elizabeth married Zachariah, the father of John the Baptist. Everything goes back to where did the Lord come and walk in England, the New Jerusalem. And that's his background. And we never knew that the background of Mary and all. She came back with Joseph and Arimathea after our Lord had risen. And when they came back, Joseph and Arimathea converted the two children of King Cadillac, who was the king's reign. Those two children were Linus and Lanus. And a man called Claudius, the emperor of Rome. He went farther than Nero. He came all the way down to Glastonbury. And he captured the family and brought to Rome. Now, when they were brought to Rome, they were hardly because of their birth. And Lanus and Linus started a church in Rome in AD 50, 17 years before Paul of Peter came. And they had a church there. And when they started the church there, Claudius was so fond of Gladys, he asked to become Claudius after him. His home then he asked by her after. But they lived in a place called Palatial Botanicus, the British. And the point was that when they eventually, if you look at 2 Timothy, so Timothy was a great friend of our Lord. And if you look at 2 Timothy, when our Lord was writing to Timothy from Rome, if I can find it now, he says into it, do your best to come before winter. The thing was this, that Lydia said, St. Greetings to you. He was the bishop of Glastonbury, went to Rome to meet them. Also, Claudia, Linus, and Linus married a man called Aris Rufus Pupus Pedentius. He comes through there, and Pupus. And in the Bible, the first bishop of Rome was Linus, a prince of Wales. And the funny thing about it was, Peter said that he ordained the first bishop of Antioch in the Holy Land. Paul ordained Linus because the first bishop of Rome. And that's the way it is. And funny enough, he ordained Clement, who was the third bishop of Rome. So they're mentioned. But nobody wants to mention Linus. Yet Linus was the person, and it's in the Bible. 2 Timothy, the last 4 verses. That says the prayer, it all comes. But it's a very funny thing, just out of a window like that, you can see the background, like that. And it brings us home to me that our Lord is alive. I mean, he lived, and he was with them, out of the background. And the last of the kings of Judah, Zedekiah. And Nebuchadnezzar put his eyes out, and he killed the 2 sons. And the point was that Jeremiah escaped with the 2 children, the 2 daughters. They went to Egypt first, and they came to Ireland. He brought Teotihuaca and the Jacob's pillar that they were all crowned on, the kings of Judah. And when he came, they were crowned, and she married the king of Ulster called Herod in town. And then coronation was there. The last that line was Brian Blue. Brian Blue is buried in our cathedral in our Abbey there. Jeremiah's grave is in Devonish Island in Lochern. I've gone with my cousin to see that grave. He died in Ireland. And the point was that when that happened then, on one side of driver of the family is the Earl of Munster. And they go down to one of the Archbishops of Armagh. And it goes down to the Duke of Wellington, who was baptised in Peter's Church in English Street. And his descendant was the Queen Mother. But it's Scottish and Irish descent. That's why she gives the shamrock. Now on the other side went the Scottish kings, eventually, the Earls of Leinster. They came all the way through the Scottish kings, down to James VI or something, James I, all the way down. And the point was that King George VI took his place with his daughter. And the Queen is the last of the tribe of Judah on this earth. Because there's a changeover all the way through, and she's the second. Our Lord is coming in her time. And if you look at the book of Isaiah, it said that there will be a tender plant on the throne of David when the Lord returns. Queen Victoria was 62 years on the throne, King was her. And Queen Mother now 55 years. I came out of hospital very ill, after 7 months in hospital, and that was the day that the Queen Mother's funeral was done. And Archbishop Carey said that the Queen Mother is like the sun shining on the whole earth, and now the sun is set. When my mother died, one of the boys who never knew her father, because I had a lot of old widowed children in my boys, they lived to me as a father again. They knew my mother, arts and crafts, all the different things I did at home. And he sent me a poem from America, where he had made himself rich. And on that window is a setting sun. And if I can find it, I can read it to you. But it's all about the fact that the sun never sets at all. We're only tempted to turn away from it. And eventually, in the Lord's time, we'll see it again. I sent out to the Queen the day I came out of the hospital, and I wrote an ordinary bit of paper. I never made a copy. 3 months later, I got a letter from Susan Hussey, who was the lady in waiting, a card in the Jubilee year, that was the Jubilee year, thanked me for a right to her in the Jubilee year. And the letter said that the Queen, how she appreciated my tribute to her mother, and also my support and my thoughts at the time, as we were going through a very, very hard time. I have that letter at home. And I'm showing this to a person here one day, and a man came in and he said, have you any records of the births here, this church? And I said, well, the representative church, body has them. And I showed him that letter from Susan Hussey. Oh, she married a man I wouldn't like. I can't tell anything. I feel that the most extraordinary thing, and the point was that he turned out to be Lord Goff's son. And Lord Goff, whose statue was blown up, was baptized in the church. So this church has an amazing history. Wolf told, married here. My father's ancestors, John Clarence Ingram, who wrote for Christmas Peace in 98. So there's both sides in my family. And yet I'm just no person here who's looking after me. And this is the background here, which makes me very humble, because like the Lord is using, and my prayer every day is that lovely prayer that you have in the alternative prayer. Save us, O Lord, while waking. Guard us while sleeping. That while we're awake, we will walk with Christ. And when we sleep, we can rest in peace. It's a renewing the body. And every day, my prayer is, since I've been ill all my life, from my birth, born on the doorstep on Easter week, when my mother was put out, and she walked 4 miles outside Dublin to Kilmainham, Crossmate House. She collapsed outside and was born on the doorstep. And I wasn't affected in it. I've died 7 times. And the point is that I'm conscious that I'm suffering all the time, but the blessing I've got is incredible. And I have M&G now, I can't eat solid food. And when I was at home, and I thought I'd never speak to people here again, I asked God to take me. I couldn't swallow and I couldn't speak. One morning I woke up. My mother, who was dead 50 odd years then, never saw my family. The whole room vibrated, maximum. That was. People think I'm I think I'm a spiritual world. But you find my faith. Christ is the Spirit. And the Spirit is working all the time. And we are body, mind, and soul. Now, I often ask people, why do we shake hands? Now, if you look at it, natural fact. In the older days, the knights were the gentlemen. They took from the rich and the very poor. They had a sword on the left-hand side drawn with the right hand for attack or defense. For if they saw a friend coming, friend is an old English word, free or free on, it means beloved. You say this not to show they're going to the sword, that right hand is out. The right hand is out. And the point is that men took their hands off the ladies. I was dying at the time when I remembered it. They had a visor over their face, they lift up to say hello. And he got the idea of lifting a hand to a lady. And that time I remembered, I could speak in the hospital that time. And the point was that I remember my youngsters were called a nipper. The guns on the battleships in the older days were fed by a little nip of gunpowder, carried from the magazine down below. And during the battle, those little boys had a big nipper. So he said, I nipper at the corner again. And that's where it all came from. But the one thing I did tell the nurses when the old Max said, I want to live on. Yeah, I had to give a job here. You know, I said, the other thing I remember, there are 4 types of love. There's marital love, there's parental love, brother and sister love, there's spiritual love. My mother came with me since my life. And I feel she's written it all the time. And when you get that old lovely story about footsteps in the sand, I'm constant of trafficking. I'm not being sentimental. And I ask God every day to walk with me and talk with me. And one day, the 2 people came into the church at the very bottom, a man and a woman. And he said to me, he said, see, oh Steve, this looks more like a Methodist church. He said, see, it's a home designer. Here, it's Georgian inside, you see. He said, my wife's a Methodist, see, I'm a heathen. But I said, a heathen is a person who works in the heather. And the heathen. And a pagan is a peasant. But they weren't in the city, so they weren't civilized. They weren't not be civilized. See, are you preaching to me? And I made up a phrase on the spot then. I don't know why. I said, when Jesus Christ is Savior, we just care and share. Jesus Christ is Savior, just care and share. And the point was that they went there holding hands. And he knew. But that's happening all the time. And one day I was coming home from here, and I was going down, and there's a woman, and there were teenage kids blowing their heads off the sugar mat. And she had a baby on her hand. She nodded to me and put her head up in the air. And I said, did you hear what the racehorse said to the one-legged jockey? How are you getting on? The kids were laughing. And she said, gosh, she said, no matter what happens, if you put your hand to the Lord, that's what happens all the time. And I have been in church now for 28 days because of swelling my feet and the things that happen to me. But I know he's there. And that's what he said. But as he said that day, see, are you preaching? I said no. And that's when I made a real change. But you should have just changed. But it's amazing how I feel so grateful for things happening. And when I was so ill, and up in Italy, I used to get food from the Salvation Army. And one day, the lady it was, she got it from Crosscare, a place in the back of High Church, run by the Carmelite brothers. And I went there to have my meeting when I was able to do it. And the nun just, I used to give the donations, and the nun said, Max, you know, since you came, this is our confession box. Everything went in. And there's men there that are drinking, drunk, and all that, and they listen to sit down and listen to me talking, and I'm telling funny stories all the time. And that's what the Lord does. But the point was that one day there was a man came in, and he couldn't eat the food. And they said, have you no appetite? And I winked the ladies his appetite. But the funny thing was that that man only wanted sweet. And he gobbled it down with everything he swallowed. And I said to the ladies going out, I said, they look like lost souls. I wish I could do something for them. I went outside that door. Now there was a younger brother, Michael, Eddie. He was up for drugs. He used to put drugs and I knew about him. And he said to me, see, can I shake your hand? So I shook hands. I told him how you shook hands. I told him how you took a hat off. I told him about the difference. And he said, how old are you? Well, I said, I'll be 90 very shortly. I said, I've died 4 times. Oh, he said, you can tell me. See, I could see my body on the hospital where I was stopping. And I didn't know how to go back and ask him for it. I said, as I said, your brother needs you. And the Lord will bring you back. I said, he's looking after you all the time. Now I have a poor lonely, you might take it away. I gave it to him that day. But the point was that I read it to the brother. All went lovely. See? And then he said to me, see, we all know you as Max. My name is Eddie. And we come here. And this is where, when they went away, holding hands, you know, I said, I wonder how he did. People in trouble since. I said one day, I said, Eddie, I said, you're still in my mind. But Max said, we'll never forget you. And I feel that, like, here I am, like I haven't been there for a long time, they still send the boot. And their names is Angela and Anne and Pauline and all that sort of thing. You know, like that. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to, you know, to have that chance of meeting people. And the other thing too, since I gave them that, never noticed it. When I see those men, and they're outside the Gateway Theatre, with their wine in their hand, and you know what they do? They do it. God is with us. We're miserable sinners still. We're under that control. And we think a lot of things. And as I say, outside the building, we're living a completely different life. And that's where, you know, the Lord lives. And this is the background. But so, like, the very funny thing is that I've made up a lot of things here over the years. Put that down there somewhere. No. Do I have it? Now, that was Dr. Point. I was in the hospital. I was left the hospital for the coming back. Now, that is from Adrian Eppie. When he was first married, he went to Canada. And in it, this is the sort of thing he has with me. He more or less said that I told him about fishing. He said, see, we came down here, there's no fish, and the one fish we caught was a foul goose. I said, we're having a terrible time. Wish we were here instead of us. No, that was the thing. And the other letter is from when he married his second wife, and the 3 children, and they're over in Spain.